Awesome. So
Awesome. What's next?
why don't you take us home and why don't you say, what's this? Or whatever. Like, I'd love experiment, play. Let's see if we can answer some questions for you.
What is this floor plan?
That actually deals with stock units, like big ticket items. Basically what happens is the bank gives you money for the title. So each big ticket item, say you have a trailer or a car, I heard you say a pickup. Let's say that you have a Toyota Tundra pickup or something, okay? What happens is if you're in a car dealership business, that Toyota Tundra has a title. If you own the title, you can take that title and turn it over to the bank, and they'll give you money for that. So they hold the title and give you cash money so you can float your business, pay payroll, all that kind of stuff. Well, eventually you have to pay it back. So that's what a floor plan is. They'll give you millions of dollars of credit line, but it's basically trading titles for physical money. And you have to just check it. So it all gets assigned to what's called a stock unit, which is a serialized piece of inventory. So instead of saying quick draws and beaters and stuff like this and selling you the widgets that you don't care about, what if your widgets were bigger and had bulk, a trailer, a vehicle, a modular home, jewelry, rifles? Like, those are serialized units. They are specific. They're sold one by one by one because they have special serialized numbers. Those are called stock units. We allow for that kind of selling as well.
Okay.
So that's what floor plan does. Good question.
James
Yes.
said that I asked him at the end all these questions about the buttons, and he said he would like to learn how to create and use the button that he created for like clocking in and out. And I said there is actually the time protection. I don't know if you've seen that, so that would be very useful for clocking in and out.
Correct. So here's a couple things that are kind of cool, and I don't know if this is what James's question is. Go ahead and just for a second, Tony, click on the little button at the top that says More Options. It's a button right in the middle.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. And go to My Favorites. Okay, so currently, if you scroll down, this is more of like a touchscreen type interface, but it has tons of buttons, kind of big ones that you can just kind of touch on, and it shows all the different little individual pieces of a puzzle. Eventually, what we would like to do is actually build this page so that if you wanted to create your own button, you could name it, you could point it to a page, and have the settings. And so if he wants to create a button for clocking in and out. So technically, this page is just a preface of where we're headed. But imagine if you have like you can see that button that says clocking in and out right there. He could physically create it and then place it wherever he wanted to. And people are wanting more and more custom stuff as they get into this. And so this is kind of what I imagine he's talking about. Like, he's like, dude, I clock in and out all the time. I want to be able to get there fast. So I think that's what he's looking for. I'll preface what we have. Click on More Options on this particular page. This page is currently under construction. The final project will allow you as a user to set up your own favorite buttons, reports, and links. In the meantime, we wanted to show you what was possible here. But basically, we have to put out teasers because we just can't get to all these little pieces of the puzzle. But that is where we would like it to go. So, Tony, I hope you see project after project after project. You're like, okay, I see why this guy needs it. But does he have questions actually about clocking in and out, or does he want to know how to create a button to do that?
How would be that?
So these are just buttons that don't do anything.
They do. You can click on anything you want. Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. And they're tied to permissions, so anything that's grayed out says, I don't currently have that permission turned on. So as you scroll down, just depending, it'll flex. So see how you have clock in and out and it's active? Go ahead and click on it. Hey, cool. Looks like we're ready to clock in. It's literally this easy. Start work. Notes, yes or no, doesn't matter. Clock in. Okay, so boom, date, time stamps it, does the whole deal, and you're set to go. Okay? Now, if you didn't have that permission turned on, that button wouldn't even be available. Okay? So watch this. Click Home for just a second, and go to Users, in the middle. Click on guest. Go to System Basics. There's a jump link right there. Now scroll down and look for a clock in and out. You're probably talking, okay, stop, 25. Click that, scroll down to the bottom. Edit that. Okay, now if you go to Chooser, go to your Chooser page. Okay.
Choose interface.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And click on the My Favorites. If they're in the middle, you can see how clock in and out is now grayed out. Like basically, it's all permission driven, but it kind of just shows a whole bunch of what is available inside of your system. Yes, Shannon.
Yeah, so James's comment is, yeah, this is nice, but it would be nice to see the background. I'm actually creating it myself. And I know this is where you guys are going, but it's always nice to learn.
Okay, cool. What we can do right now, James, if you have a need and you're like, oh my goodness, I need this many buttons and stuff like that, you would basically contact an Adilas developer, give them your plan of what you need, and we charge you just a minimum fee for creating a custom page, and then we load it in for you. Like, we can load in custom interface pages like no other. It's not a problem. Right now, it's not exposed to you guys being able to build your own buttons yet. Basically, we build the buttons, we wire it up, and then we serve it up to you. But eventually, we would like to even get to the level where you build it, you wire it up, and then you get it on demand. That's really cool. Awesome. I wasn't even watching, but I can tell what you did. You just turned your permission back on. That's great. It's great. It's great. So,
I worked for 0.4 hours.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Now you'll notice, because you're just in the normal clock in and out right here, you can't edit any of that stuff. But there's other permissions called admin time clock. Why don't you go like this? Click home for just a second. And click on the payroll page, the payroll link. It's kind of in the middle-ish up. Okay. There's a link that says admin time clock. Second, third line. Yep. Now, check this out. Now you have links. If you wanted to, you could actually go into this guest, and modify it. Let's say you wanted to put the time in clear at 12 o'clock. You click there, scratch out 416, change it to 12. Perfect. And then say update clock in. Oh, it says, hey, if you're using the admin piece, you want to add some notes. That's what that message says. It says, hey, they forgot to clock in. Whatever. Okay, so now if you go back to the admin time clock, go to the link at the top of the page. So now it just rolled back to 12. But it does put a little flag by it, that little green flag or whatever. And that's according to your, hey, I've been modified a little bit. So it starts saying, hey, who's playing with these different records? Like, we don't care what the physical numbers are, but we do try to track some of the different pieces of the puzzle that who's doing what.
Does it store somewhere the old clock-in time?
Absolutely. So click on 12 o'clock. Go all the way down to the bottom. All the way down to the bottom. Okay, so here's this and this and this. Scroll up a little bit. My bad. Come up. See these modified and original dates. Original date and time was 9/24 at 4:16. Right below your first button.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
So basically, we're tracking a bunch of those different pieces of the puzzle. We haven't even shown you anything on the history yet, but we've done POs and parts and added barcodes and all this kind of stuff. Why don't you go find either a PO, an invoice, or a part that you played with this morning? And I'm just going to show you some history stuff. Okay, right there. Editor, yeah, perfect. Look right there. Okay, here's who played with it. Here's the date, timestamps. Here's what happened. Blah blah blah. It's basically behind the scenes. We're totally monitoring who's playing with what. So it's almost like a digital surveillance thing. It creates what's called an audit trail. Kind of a technical term for it. But every single piece that you've touched today, we've been watching. We've been watching. Oh, it says click home for just a second. This is kind of fun.
We are watching.
Click on that the top right corner where it says history and reports. history. Okay, here's what we've done today. We've done 7 invoices worth $1,000. Here's a bunch of different little items. We've done a number of new POs, 5 of them worth almost $5,000. We've done a couple of expense receipts. We paid $50 towards some reimbursements and stuff. We have a couple of flex script tie-ins because we added some crimes that we had done. These are all the, oh, there's one time card that got done, etc., etc. Looks like we added one image, but you can virtually go back and find anything you can get done today. If you want to go even deeper, click the very top link which says Your History Report 924. Come down just slightly. Oh, right there. Okay, here's what guest did. You want to see all of it? Literally, here's the blow by blow what we did the whole day. Okay? Click. Like, it's all just being categorized. Okay. Those are links on the far left side there, back right to the physical items. But that's what we did today. That's your audit trail. So it's all human readable, but it's basically like logs. It's kind of history type logs. Anyway, one of the things that I'm really grateful for, Tony, is that you're able to be here and kind of see this, because like you can't even imagine you trying to display this and be like, okay, here's our project that we're going to be working on next. You kind of have to get your head into like the game a little bit and be like, I see how it is and where it's going and where it's playing. But there are hundreds and hundreds of tables that are interconnected and all playing part of the game. And every single one is the exact basic thing. ID numbers, ads, edits, updates, and kind of that kind of stuff. So, awesome.
James was wondering really quick before you move on. He said that helped what you explained, and then he was just wondering what kind of scripting you guys are using to create the button.
Perfect. So the My Cart favorite buttons are actually done in Flash. So that is a little miniature Flash widget. It's kind of pulling in all those dynamic parameters so it knows how to work. But we can make these into HTML. The main scripting language that we use inside of Adilas is Cold Fusion. It's Adobe Cold Fusion. But technically it could be anything. What we do is once the values are stored and where it's headed as far as allowing us to let outside developers, we're going to put it into a format that's called JSON, which is basically a JavaScript object-oriented notation, like how you create something. We're going to create an object, and we're going to let outside developers play with it through APIs. So we'll save all the data, we've got all the stuff saved and coded, but if you don't want to run it through the normal Adilas format, you'll be able to externally grab that out through the API, which is the application programming interface. So there's a lot of things in Scrum.
There's a lot of JavaScript,
Yep, for sure.
I know HTML5 uses a lot of like JavaScript, jQuery, that kind of stuff too. Some cool stuff.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see where it goes because we don't have to know all of the different technologies. We have to kind of basically make it available for other people to know and to use it. There's no way that I can figure this all out. So basically, Adilas is kind of outgrowing me, and so we're recruiting help and trying to actually empower the people so that they can create their own custom interfaces and create their own little flows and processes, shortcut steps, do all kinds of cool stuff, like add new graphics, new visual look and feel, add graphs, etc., etc. We have tons of data. Adilas is a super powerful engine, but where we're seeing and where we want it to go is actually being able to reskin that however you want. That is your flavor. So going in that direction. Awesome. Let's have you go back home, and then let's have you see if you can give us another question or something there. We've played all along that bottom board mostly. We haven't touched anything on Elements of Time. We're going to be using that a whole bunch tomorrow. The only thing else that, okay, what's the difference between an invoice and a quote? We didn't talk about a lick about a quote.
Invoice is when you're billing someone. A quote is like, hey, we're thinking about getting this, this, and this. How much is it going to cost us?
Okay. So basically, it's very similar to an invoice. It just doesn't have payments, and it doesn't actually affect real inventory. That's basically the only difference. But you still can do the same basic thing. We still use a shopping cart to build a quote. Why don't you build me a quote for a membership? And we'll actually use, what have you got in your cart right now? Let's see what you got. Okay, so currently this is under a say you pulled in a whole bunch of memberships and say that I'm perfectly happy with this. Literally just hit save, and all it does is, hey, so now you're in the quote inventory versus an invoice. So literally you left the shopping cart, and now it exists. I can now restore a cart, I can
Send this to a
I can
potential
save this
customer.
PDF, I can send it, anything, okay? One of the cool things about quotes inside of Adilas is, say for instance you run out of time, say you have a big old long one you were doing, and you're doing something, all of a sudden it's lunchtime and you didn't quite get it finished. Save as a quote. It's virtually like doing a save, okay? Then you go about your merry way and you come back and go, where was I? You restore that back to the cart and you just keep right on the way. It doesn't hurt a thing. So there's links that say,
There it is, restore the cart.
Restore the cart. Oh, okay. You can actually modify it now. Say I didn't want 50 at 25, say I only wanted 40. You just scratch that off. 40, hit update cart.
Oh, I hit enter.
It's okay. Basically what it did is it hit my favorites. See how that's highlighted right now? Yep. So you just put 40 and then hit update cards. And that'll make it stick. Sweet. There you go.
So now let's see if I can go to 2.
It's not smart enough to remember
To remember
that,
that it was a
yeah,
smart.
yeah,
Okay.
it has no clue on that, but that's a good. I love that this is experimenting. That's perfect. I love it because what you're going to do is you're going to find out. Okay, that's me. Oh, automatic. Oh, cool. Follow me. That's called experimenting. I highly recommend that. Like if you're willing to do that, that's so much better than somebody like, I don't know what to do. You're like, you got to get in there and play. You have to get your hands dirty a little bit. You have to kind of like try to break it almost.
Yeah, I was going to say sometimes your goal just has to be to break it.
Yeah. You literally, and if you break
How
it,
can
you
I
end up
game
finding.
the system?
What's that?
So, well, that's what hackers will do. Is they'll be like, how can I game the system?
Yep.
And then test your SQL injection.
Yeah. We try to prevent a bunch of that type of stuff. So like if you, say for instance, you need an open field, like even right here, why don't you put test and then open close paren and then something like this, like say for instance, or asterisk dot asterisk.
Plot table.
Yeah. Like basically, like, depending on what you're doing, it will actually test and say, whoa, I don't even allow iframe or JavaScript or this or that or whatever. So it didn't find anything wrong with your particular one right there that you did. But what if you did like this test asterisk dot asterisk or something like that?
Test. This?
Yeah, just something like that. I'm sorry, we don't even allow asterisk dot asterisk. Sorry, buddy, that's a potentially dangerous thing. So, like, we try to test multiple different places and flavors and like what's going on and what's happening. Like, say for instance, you go to a quote. Why don't you go like this? Use your quick search and go quote last. Not right there, way up at the top of the
here.
quick search. Yeah.
So quote last, like that?
No, switch the item thing to quote. Like,
Okay.
Find your last quote. Good call. Last go. Okay. So up at the top, you'll see a URL variable. Say somebody gets tricky and they want to play with that. See how it says 43 up at the top in the URL? Yeah, like basically, I'm even talking like physically in the URL string.
Oh.
If somebody wants to play with that and kind of like see if they can pass in something, that's a valid number. Why don't you pass something that it's not a number, see what happens. I'm sorry. Like, it basically kind of is checking kind of some of your stuff. So we know people are going to end up trying to hack on it. That's just part of playing an internet game. So we probably 75% of the Adilas is air handling, making sure that validation is going on and that we have good data, good relationships, and you're not deleting something out from underneath me. And it's got to kind of be built in that direction. Otherwise, it falls apart. It's called referential integrity if we're talking database terms.
I just want to share something. It's a funny
Sure,
comment dealing with this. So this is a funny comic.
Oh.
And Bowser gets her daughter's named Help, I'm trapped in a driver's license factory. Yeah, so that's what that reminded me of this. Is just, you just got to be careful and make sure that everything you do is secure. So
We do try to do that as much as possible, but you can see just from what he said, like, people who know what they're doing, he instantly then drop this. Basically what he's talking about is because it live feeds to a database, it will kind of start playing like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm supposed to pass it. You have to check that stuff so that it doesn't actually create what's called cross-site scripting. Like, you have to be pretty darn good to do that. You know that you have whatever you enter automatically shows up on the next page. You can potentially input code and see how it responds and so forth. You don't even necessarily want. It's kind of like getting into the mind of a criminal in a way. It's like, okay, how do you?
But as a web developer, you really have to know what are they going to be looking for, what are possible ways that I can break this, and then think, okay, this is how I can prevent them from doing this. Like, so what will happen is, like, you'll input, search these fields where this equals this. Okay, but I'll pull the document and actually type out. So an SQL query will look something like this. Select everything from whatever your table name is, where, and then you have a column name. So this is going back into where we talked about earlier, how the tables are made, where this, or the column name equals, and then you put the single quotes, which will go around whatever value you want to search for. So let's say we're looking for names. You can say where first name equals Bill, right? And so if you're searching for a person, they put in the first name search field, Bill. This is what the query would look like. But then somebody who's smart will be like, okay, so what if I put in a single quote that ends the search thing, and then I can put a semicolon, start a new line, and insert malicious code and get rid of, or just mess with you. Like, if you can guess table names, you can totally do a lot of bad stuff. And so when they talk about sanitizing database inputs, the way to avoid this is every time they input a single quote, you put another one with it, and then the SQL will actually treat it as just an actual quote instead of ending whatever string you started. And so that's just a coding practice that is very smart to look into when you do this kind of stuff. It's called sanitizing inputs. That's something you have to look for. So that's when it said like Robert, end quote, parenthesis, semicolon. That's her ending the string, and then she can go and drop table students and get rid of the students' names.
Yeah,
Great.
Got it. Huh.
Yeah, you just gotta have to be careful as far as what you allow to come across and what you're actually looking for. So there are some smart people out there, there really are, and I'm not saying we're bulletproof, but we have spent some time trying to make it where it's very stable and we can help you out with some security issues and needs and stuff.